Hello and welcome to another episode of GoalTime. Today, I think you are going to love my guest. Her name, Grace Marchese, and she created something called the Mari Girls. And I was introduced to her by a former guest of GoalTime, Pam, from The Positive Place. You may remember her. Well, she introduced me to Grace, and I talked to Grace for maybe a half hour over the phone, and we became instant friends. And then she told me about the Mari Girls, what inspired the Mari Girls, where she came from, the adversity she had to overcome. And I said, wow, we've got to get her on GoalTime. So here we are. She's here live and in color. Ladies and gentlemen, Grace Marchese.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for getting my name right.
With a name like Desrosiers, yeah, a lot of people don't get my name right as well.
Yeah,
but no, it's very important. People's names are important.
It is. And I love being here with you.
Oh,
so I
yeah,
just
thank
want to
you.
say this is really a treat.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you know when you meet someone and it's just that kindred spirit, that instant
Oh.
connection, Mister from, a sister from another
Yep,
mister.
yep.
I just felt that
I
way
know.
with you right away.
You're amazing.
So let's catch them up on what we're talking about.
Absolutely. I'd love it.
So Pam introduced me to Grace and told me all about this artist that is putting out not only a book on something called the Mari Girls, but then going far beyond the book and doing other products that she'll tell you about as well. So let's start there, and then we can get into what inspired the Mari Girls and where it's going to go in the future. So what is the Mari Girls?
So just to give you a little bit about myself. So I'm an artist, I'm a writer, and I worked on these stories for as long as I can remember. So the Mari Girls is really, it's more of a philosophy and a mission to empower girls around the world.
Interesting.
And I'll kind of, go into it a little bit, but when I look at Mari, which is named after my youngest granddaughter, Mariella, but Mari also means beloved. So I couldn't think of anything better
that's
than,
beautiful.
Isn't it
It is.
beautiful? The beloved girls. So we started with lots of different products. Ultimately, they'll be dolls. But in order to really get them out to the world, we decided that we'd start with stories. So the very first story is Penelope and the Pigeon of Piccadilly, and that was launched about 7 weeks ago. And it's the first in a very long series.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting.
It's very, very exciting.
Isn't it interesting when you create something and you know it exists, but the world doesn't yet?
Yes.
And then when you start to launch it and it's that adrenaline that comes along with that?
It is. And I think that it was supposed to be here. I say it to everyone. I probably said it to you in the past, that it was supposed to be brought into the world. I just feel really blessed that it's me that got to be able to do it.
Well, I
So
think
it's
you're the
very
only one that,
exciting.
once they find out about you, where
Yeah.
you came from, what inspired the Mari Girls,
Yes.
it could have only been you. So.
Oh, thank you.
Well, no, it's the fact. So when I saw your initial drawings,
Yes.
they were the black and white ones.
Yes.
And you could tell by looking at Grace's face,
Yeah.
you've got such awesome features, and
Thank you.
And so do your characters.
Yes.
So when I saw the drawings, I noticed not only a resemblance to you,
Yep.
right, and I'm sure that's intentional, but I also saw that they were so good that I almost thought they were AI generated because of the way the hair was flowing, the way that you nailed certain expressions that I didn't think could be caught by a paper and pencil. So can you describe your art form in regards to how you go from what's in your head
Yeah.
to paper, and then do you use things like Photoshop or
Sure.
certain technologies or AI to get a finished product?
Yeah, so I started off, I like to kid around like 100 years ago as a portrait artist. So when people see that, then afterwards it makes a lot of sense. They're like, oh, so she really is a trained artist. So I did that. I did lots of portrait photography, drawing, and I was a fine artist, still a fine artist in different galleries, have been throughout New England.
And where was this? What areas?
So I was born and brought up in Everett, Massachusetts.
Okay.
So I'd love to say home of the Crimson Tide and Teddy Peanut Butter because that's what.
Oh, that's right.
And now it's a casino. So, so I did lots of different, groups down in that area. Then 20 years ago, I moved up to the North Shore. I live in Salisbury. So I've been in different galleries, different shows. I was even part of an art licensing group. So it kind of, moved into like this direction of that. So I always started when I designed the girls, I always started with I was a portrait artist.
Okay.
I have a lot of, when you say they look like me, they're really from my granddaughters who do look like me. So that's not a big stretch.
Okay.
Then yes, I do take them, I put them into Photoshop. I do some, graphic designs, things like that. You would have to because in order to keep doing them over and over again, it's just like it's another tool in your toolbox.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
But 90% of what you see is from the brain and the hands and the skill set of Grace.
And then bringing them in and doing some things like that.
Makes sense.
Which it's not as though every single one of them is, only drawing. So I kind of, and when I was doing things with the USPTO, getting all of my things trademarked, all of my images copywritten, they were asking too, like, tell us about your process. And I said, almost think of a mixed media. So, you're using it, but I have all my originals, of course, and things like that. You probably saw some of my early things.
And the reason I wanted to stress this so much was that because in today's technology, in today's world, you don't know what's real, what isn't. You don't know what was created by an artist versus AI or a robot. And I want to make sure people understand the level of talent that Grace has.
And thank you for saying that. And even the stories, I don't do the stories at all in AI. They're all my stories. I started even as a young girl with these characters, and they kind of grew up with me. Of course, I'm older, they're more polished, they're more perfected.
I love it.
But they're still my stories, and I don't use them, I don't use AI for that at all. I'm not like opposed to it or doing it if it was like an easy way, if you wanted to do a background or like, and I don't care who uses it. I would say I'm not the police. It doesn't matter to me.
It's interesting an artist saying that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that because we have to keep growing and we have to keep adapting, right, to whatever technologies come our way.
So many years ago, we kind of, and some of my professors were like this too. They took the computer, they turned it around, they had it facing the wall because there was no way that they were going to, they thought it was cheating or different things like that.
It goes all the way back to film cameras.
Exactly.
And in a film camera, you either got your shot or you didn't. And you didn't even find out until you went through the whole artistic process of developing the photo.
Which is true.
Right. And now you just take 10,000 photos, and if you didn't get the shot, you just Photoshop it and change the colors and the filters. So anyway, we can go on about technology forever. I want to get back to Mari Girls here.
Yeah.
So now, I fell in love with the actual drawings. They drew me in. They were very powerful as an image. And but then I heard about the stories, which again could only come from you.
Thank you.
And I figured, where did these stories come from? So now I want to talk to you about what inspired you. How did you begin your life? What life experiences put these thoughts in your head to create not just cute stories, cute dolls, cute products, but with a purpose, a mission of empowering girls and to give them a voice and to give them power, I guess is the best word to say that. So where did all that come from?
Well, thank you for saying that first of all, and even asking that, because my mission and my goal first and foremost is to empower girls, as you know. So for myself, as I was saying, I was born and brought up right outside of Boston in the housing projects. I had a very hard and humbled upbringing and means. Sometimes not like, it's not a sour grapes thing, so I don't want to get too much into it. But it wasn't always what I would consider the safest environment or the happiest of environments. But what I did for myself is I found out at a very young age that imagination can take you anywhere. And I started, I knew even probably from the time I was 7 or 8 that I was an artist. So I would make up stories and I would do little plays and I would draw pictures, and we really didn't have dolls. But we had paper dolls. And then when we didn't have paper dolls, I created the paper dolls.
Right.
And I created paper dolls for the neighborhood girls. And I saw how like amazing they felt, how I felt.
Do you remember around what age that was?
Probably 7 and 8.
Yeah, that's so funny because I just read in a book about neurologistics that between 6 and 9 years old is the most common age where kids will make up fake friends, imaginary friends.
Wow.
And it's to create a reality that they can buy into.
Yes.
And that they, it's really fascinating.
And
then look what it did for you.
And I hope one day it can do it for millions of girls, around the world. And so I felt almost as though I could capture lightning in a bottle.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is because I knew that the stories that I was telling, the characters that I was developing, they could be anything. So I'd like to say I rose above the fray. So the mundane, maybe the not so peaceful, and I could rise above it. I could make up these stories. I could create these characters, and I could have the ending any way that I wanted to.
Exactly right.
That's very, very, very powerful for a young child.
It is. And if you don't have that in your real life, to be able to create that in a fake world or an imaginary world does give you that power. So the stories, the challenges, the adventures that your girls go on, are they overcoming adversity? Are they faced with hard times as well? Are they more like superheroes? Describe the adventures.
Well, thank you for that as well. There's going to be a lot of things as you're going to see these girls kind of coming into their own. But every one of them is a little anecdotal, and it is talks about friendships. Or the first one, Penelope and the Pigeon of Piccadilly.
I love that title.
Thank you. She is in Piccadilly Square in London. She thinks she's lost, but is she really lost? So something happens. She befriends a pigeon who is a snarky, playful, clever, bright, and helpful friend. So it really talks about feeling you're not really lost when you're not alone. So it's a bond, it's overcoming adversity, even though it's pretty mild in the way that we're how I'm writing it.
Well, I'm glad because they'll still get the lesson of overcoming adversity
Without question.
Without having to read about very adult issues. A lot of books nowadays, let's let kids be kids and let's not face them with adult issues and world problems. As you read a children's book to them, you can still get the morals, you can still get the lessons.
And friendship, and wonderment, and not being afraid anymore. And it's okay to be silly, and it's okay to be messy, and going on adventures and traveling.
Right, I love it. Very cool.
So I'm doing that, and my main thing is, and people say, well, why did you pick girls, all over the world? Because I would love a girl, say, that is picking it up in London to read about Penelope, but there's also someone in Nantucket, Massachusetts that's reading it, and they say, wow, she sounds so much like me.
Right.
Or I feel like that too.
Right.
So I think it could be a very nice bond that all of the girls will be able to have together.
So now, here's a question. Who is the ideal girl that you want to reach? Who are you trying to reach? Who needs the Maori girls the most?
Well, I would love to say that I think all girls need the Maori girls. But for me, I would love to get girls before the world starts lying to them.
Interesting.
You're not good enough. You're not right enough.
Tall enough, pretty enough.
Smart
enough.
Why do you do that? Why is that silly? Like, I want them to be able to stand in their own light, because our tagline is authentically me, authentically you. Because I want girls around the world to be able to say, oh, I can stand in my own light. And then when, Susie stands in her own light, I accept that too.
Oh, man, imagine if the world would operate that way.
Wouldn't that be phenomenal?
Yeah, it would. It would be just like our government.
Heaven help us all. But, so I just, and people say, oh, it's so big, it's too much to even ask of. But,
No, it isn't.
I'm one person, but I have a huge heart and a big voice, and I think if there's a lot of us that are doing it, then why shouldn't I try just because it's really hard?
Yeah, our kids, my wife Claudia and I, we raised 3 kids. They were her kids from her first marriage. I came along later, and now for 30-something years we've been at it. It's
guy.
awesome. No, I'm the lucky one, believe me. I couldn't be more proud of these 3 kids. They all couldn't be more different from each other, but fantastic in their own individual way.
Love that.
And what I'm most proud is that they all now have kids. I'm 57 years old today, and not today, like my birthday.
God,
I meant
the
at the moment. I'm 57 years old, and I have 6 grandkids. And I will tell you, the one thing I'm most proud about is how my kids, our kids, are raising those kids to be okay with who they are. And and those 6 kids couldn't be more different from each other, but there is a sense of confidence, and they stand up for themselves, and they hold themselves, and they couldn't be more different from each other. And they don't all necessarily fit into the norms in their individual schools or communities, but they are who they are, and they're okay with that. I think that is such a head start in life.
It is, and I don't even know when people say that to me too, like, the norm, and I say, well, I don't even know what that even is. I just think, if we can empower children, and it isn't really just for girls either. I want to make that known. The characters right now are girls. The friends, the pigeon is a male, he's a boy, and the dog and things. So even the boys are really starting to, love them a lot. But I am going to be introducing boys as well into these big characters and the series to be able to do it. But it's something to not only empower, but it has to be self-affirmation. We have to have children fall in love with themselves.
Oh, first and foremost, all humans.
Without question.
I mean, the most important relationship is the relationship with yourself. I just learned that from Pam, from the Positive Place in my last episode, and with the way she said it was so succinct and perfect.
But it is true.
You've got the most important relationship in the world is the one you have with yourself, and if you can't love yourself, then you can't be at your best for others.
Right. And I want to start, when they're young, again, not to be redundant, but before the world came in, before the world said, you're not right enough, you're not good enough, whatever it might be, to be able to have them be empowered, to have hope.
Yeah.
Hope is everything. So to have hope, to give them a chance, to creativity and imagination, even Einstein says fact can only take you so far, but imagination can take you anywhere.
Yeah.
It is more important than the facts and knowledge, without question.
So I'll ask you 2 things. Number, and only as much as you feel comfortable talking about it. So what did you face as a child where you weren't getting these things? You weren't getting this empowerment that made you want to now say, I need to be there for future girls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I came from, again, my home wasn't the safest. I had a father who, fought alcoholism. It was a very different time. I'm a baby boomer. So a lot of it was, you didn't really talk about it. There was like
I'm right there with you.
unrest, and yourself. There's unrest in your home. You learn to keep secrets. You don't.
You're to be seen, not heard.
All of that. And even though I was very extroverted, I'm still very extroverted.
No.
Yes, it's
You?
true. I know. Hard to believe. But I was always so introspective. And I think, it gave me a way to almost get really like into like this sacred space.
Yeah.
And that's the space
Cool.
that I created. But I do feel like at times that I had to almost parent myself, and I didn't have a lot of role models, and I don't want that for any other girl.
Or if they are in that environment, there's a resource to go to.
Without question.
Man, I love this. So what else is there going to be besides the books?
Yeah, so we started off with books.
Okay.
But we ultimately want to do toys, interactive games, animated films, Mari Girl parties, where girls can kind of get together and blossom and grow together with one another. Wearable art. Clothing line. I just did a fabulous party. I was invited by, she's incredible, Whitney Cardozi, and she does Blossom, and did a mother-daughter party. And she had me there, and I got to talk and be introduced to the girls, and they fell in love. And they were like, do you do sheets? Do you do pillowcases?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they wanted it all. They wanted it all. And that's what I love. And they were like, we want to do a Mari Girl party.
Right.
We want to be involved in that. And that's because they understand what it represents.
Right. Well, that's what I love, is that's not about capitalism and making the most amount of money you can by putting cute products out there, but there is a true purpose.
Without question.
So I love that. That's awesome. And then you're still sort of young on the growth of your business.
Well, I mean, it's embryonic when you really think about it, because it took me 4 years, like I started it 4 years ago, took me well over probably close to 2.5 years to get all of my trademarks, all of my copyrights.
Exactly.
That takes forever.
And then I don't know if you can share with our viewers, but you also have some pretty heavy hitters in your corner that are supporting you. And so can you talk about them at all? Or?
Yeah, and I would love to. And it's just I can't even, I have to pinch myself like when I'm on a Zoom call with them. But yes, I do I call them my dream team. And I have people that are former high executives from Hasbro toy companies that did licensing, international licensing from Hasbro, from Mattel. And also one of Phil helped to put Cabbage Patch dolls. I have Tony Ann, who has put Luca and Danny Jewelry Company.
Wow.
That's on amazing. The map. It's amazing. And what's most amazing is they believe in not only the look of the product and the brand and all of that, they believe in the message.
Exactly. And you have the whole package. And I never heard of the Mari Girls. I'm sure many of my viewers have not yet heard about the Mari Girls, but with the people in your corner, the purpose, the need out there in the world, I think everybody's going to hear about the Mari Girls really soon.
From your lips to God's ears. I hope so.
So now tell people how they can find you. Where can they find you? Where can they find more information or even purchase the book?
Yes. So Penelope and the Pigeon of Piccadilly, that is the very first book that I have. It is in lots of local bookstores, but the best part is if you can't find it in your local bookstore, you can contact them and they can order it for you. You can also do it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I know there's a lot of people out there that still love to support, the mom and pop. So you can go out and do that as well.
Fantastic.
I do lots of different shows. I read. If anybody, any of your listeners are out there and they would love me to come to their library, their elementary school, to do a reading.
Careful what you ask for, because you're going to get really busy really quick.
But it's a great, and I do donate quite a bit of books to libraries.
Nice.
Because I do come from such a humble means, and I never want a child who can't afford a book. I want them to be able to go to a local library and be able to pick it up and take it home and enjoy it as well.
All right, so Groton, I'll make you my promise right now. We're going to get that book into the Groton Library, where I'm from.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
And the elementary schools too, and I can come in. So there's lots of ways. I always say, I'm Grace Marchese. You can Google, me. I'm on Facebook, the Mari Girls as well, Facebook, Instagram.
You're all over the place.
So I'm kind of all over the place,
Yeah.
and I would really want your audience to know that this is just the biggest gift and blessing of my life, and I hope that I can make that a blessing for other people.
Yeah.
I really do. It's my passion.
Well, I love that you're doing it, and you're also not only taking your own life experience, and instead of being a victim to it, you're using it as power to provide other people with inspiration and with hope, and that's what GoalTime is all about. That's what all my other guests are all about. That's my vocation in life. If I could survive and adapt and learn how to succeed and put in the work and set goals and never give up, and succeed to my definition of success, and then you could overcome your childhood and the challenges you had. If you could do it, then I could do it.
Anyone can do it.
Anybody can do it.
Which we love. I love that so much.
Absolutely. I can't thank you enough for being my guest. And
I know
we're going to do so much together in the future.
We really are. And you're like my brother to me. So
my sister from another mister.
That's right. And thank you. And thanks to everybody for listening. And it's, again, such a passion. And for all the little girls out there, know that I created this for you. That's really what I did.
Oh, that's awesome. I love this show because I get to meet people like Grace and share them with you. Thank you for watching another episode of GoalTime. We'll see you next time.